Am I the asshole for ghosting my entire family after a lifetime of being treated like I didn't matter? So I, 27M, finally did something that younger me would never have believed. I cut off my entire family, blocked them everywhere, and vanished from their radar like a ghost. And the worst part? It feels good, peaceful, maybe too peaceful, which is why I'm here asking if I'm actually the bad guy. Let me back up. Growing up, I wasn't the golden child, the troubled child, or even the forgotten middle child. I was more like the background character in my own home. My family treated me like I was optional, like an accessory they didn't ask for, but felt obligated to keep around. My older sister Maya was the star athlete. My younger brother Liam was the miracle baby because my mom had a rough pregnancy. Me? Apparently, I was just there. I can't count the times I got left behind at school events, forgotten during parent-teacher meetings, or told I was old enough to handle it, while my siblings got chauffeured around like they were royalty. Birthdays? Half remembered. School achievements? Barely acknowledged. Emotional needs? Non-existent. My mom used to say, "You're independent." That's a good thing. But independence born out of neglect isn't a virtue. It's survival. By the time I was 16, I had stopped expecting anything. I worked part-time jobs, bought my own clothes, paid for my own school trips, and cooked my own meals more often than not. My siblings teased me for being dramatic whenever I brought it up. When I turned 18, I moved out the second I could. No drama, no fight. I just left a note on the kitchen counter saying, "Thanks for everything." I don't know why I wrote that. Habit, maybe. For a few years, I kept minimal contact. Holidays, birthdays, random check-ins. I hoped maybe as adults things would change. Maybe we could start over. Spoiler, we didn't. My siblings still dominated every conversation. My parents acted shocked whenever I talked about my job or apartment or aspirations, like they were learning about me for the first time. Because they were. The turning point came last year. I had been invited to a family dinner, their first attempt at a real gathering in ages. I was excited in a cautious way. I showed up on time, holding a store-bought cheesecake because my mom texted, "Don't worry about bringing anything," which I translated as "bring something anyway." I walked in and they were halfway through the meal, not waiting for me, not saving me a seat, not even checking the time. My sister looked up with her mouth full and said, "Oh, you made it. We thought you weren't coming." The dinner was basically an hour of them talking about their lives. When I tried to speak, someone interrupted. When I mentioned a promotion I'd been proud of, my dad literally said, "Good for you," and immediately turned to my brother to ask about his new car. The final straw? My mom posted pictures from the dinner the next day. I wasn't in a single one. It was like I didn't exist. Again. So I made a decision. I didn't announce it. I didn't warn anyone. I didn't send a dramatic, "You'll miss me when I'm gone" message. I just left. I blocked their numbers, unfollowed on social media, changed my email, moved to a new apartment closer to my job, told mutual relatives I didn't want my info shared. I became a digital ghost. The first few weeks were silent. Then the messages trickled in through email and mutual contacts. "Your mother's worried sick. Are you okay? Why aren't you answering? Liam thinks you're angry about the dinner. This is childish. Family is family." I didn't respond to any of them. Months passed. I expected the guilt to kick in, but it didn't. If anything, my life improved. Without the constant reminder that I was the least important person in my own family, I felt lighter. I picked up new hobbies, started therapy, learned how to be someone who didn't need scraps of affection to survive. But last week, my aunt got my new number from someone and called me. She said my parents are devastated and that ghosting your family is cruel and selfish. She asked me, "Do you really want your legacy to be disappearing when people need you?" That question stuck with me. Do they actually need me? Or do they just miss having someone to ignore? I keep wondering, did I overreact? Should I have talked to them first? Given them a chance? Was ghosting too extreme? AITA for choosing my peace over their comfort? I don't know. All I know is this. Being unseen for 20 plus years hurts. Finally choosing to be seen, even if only by myself, feels like the first real act of love I've ever experienced. So Reddit, am I the asshole for disappearing on my family after they spent my entire childhood treating me like I wasn't even there? Update, my mom showed up at my job and things got messier than I expected. Original post, family neglected me my whole life. I ghosted them as an adult. I felt peace for the first time ever. Extended family called me selfish. I asked AITAH. Okay, so buckle up because I was not planning on updating, but things took a wild turn this week. So yeah, my mom showed up at my job, unannounced. For context, I work in a medium-sized tech company. Open office, glass walls, very visible. My building has security at the front, but if you say you're visiting your son in that very emotional mom voice, apparently they don't stop you. I was in the middle of a meeting when one of my coworkers slacked me. "Hey man, there's someone wandering around the lobby asking for you. She looks like you." "Mom?" And my stomach dropped. I went out to the lobby and there she was, my mom, clutching her purse like she was entering a courtroom. Her first words were, "Why are you doing this to us?" Not "hi," not "I'm glad you're okay," not even "I've been worried." Straight to guilt. We talked, but it wasn't really a conversation. She started with the classics. "We're family. You're being dramatic. You're punishing us for nothing. You've always been distant. Your siblings miss you. How could you abandon your own mother?" Every sentence felt like being shoved back into my childhood bedroom. I told her calmly, very calmly because I refused to be emotional in a lobby at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, that I didn't ghost them to punish them. I ghosted them because trying to be seen by them hurt more than disappearing did. She looked offended, personally insulted by my pain. She said, "You're rewriting history. You were always independent. You never needed us like the other two." That sentence lit me up inside in the worst way, because that's exactly what I spent years trying to explain. They didn't notice I needed them because they weren't looking. I told her, I was a kid. Kids aren't supposed to raise themselves. She blinked like she'd never considered that once in her life. Then she said something that honestly shocked me. "Well, Emma, if you felt that way, you should have said something." I laughed, out loud, in the lobby. I couldn't help it. I said, "Mom, I was a child. You were the adult." And she got angry. The quiet, tiny, sharp kind of anger. She told me that I'm ungrateful, that I'm making up a sob story, that my siblings had it harder than I think, that I'm selfish for cutting off the family, that she didn't come all this way to be attacked. I told her the conversation was over. Security had to escort her out. Not because she caused a scene, she didn't scream or cry, but because she refused to leave until I promised to come home and talk to the family like a man. I said no. She wouldn't move. Security stepped in. She walked out looking like I'd slapped her. And I went back to my desk and sat in the bathroom for 15 minutes feeling like a 10-year-old again. But here's the twist. I don't feel guilty. I feel relieved. Because seeing her in person confirms something therapy has been trying to drill into my skull for months. My family didn't ignore me accidentally. They ignored me because it was convenient for them. And they want me back for the same reason. Not because they love me, not because they want to know me, but because my absence makes them uncomfortable. But the story doesn't end there. That same night, my sister Maya sent me a long email. And this part honestly shocked me more than my mom showing up. She wrote, she had no idea I felt neglected. She always thought I preferred being alone. She remembers me being quiet but never unhappy. She thought I didn't want to be part of things. She wants to talk privately without our parents. I stared at her message for a long time, because for the first time in my entire life, someone in my family wasn't dismissing my feelings. She wasn't perfect. Some of her wording still had that "you chose this" tone, but she was trying. And that's new. I haven't replied yet. I don't trust it, but I might. Not today. Not this week. But maybe eventually. Where I'm at now, I re-block my mom. She's not entitled to access to me. I told HR in case she tries to show up again. I'm considering responding to Maya, but only on my own timeline. I'm still ghosting the rest of the family. I no longer wonder if I'm the bad guy. I'm choosing peace over blood. And honestly, for the first time in my life, I feel like I matter, even if it's just to myself.